This is Southwest Florida in Focus. Coming up, local Venezuelans react to the United States' involvement in South America. Worries mount over changes in immigration policy as the state discusses bringing charges against former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. Florida reading scores continue to plummet. Could artificial intelligence be a solution to improve literacy in the classroom? And turning skates into success. Two roller derby stars turn their love for the sport into a new business venture. Hello, I am Jennifer Crawford. Thank you for joining us. The fallout from the United States removal of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro looks to shift to the Sunshine State. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has encouraged State Attorney General James Uthmeier to explore a state legal case against the ousted Maduro on charges of drug trafficking and releasing criminals into the United States. Meanwhile, in Southwest Florida, there are mixed reactions to the political changes happening in Venezuela. WGCU's Culture and Connections reporter Elizabeth Andarge spoke with one student living under temporary protected status who is dealing with the changes to his homeland and with U.S. immigration policy.
For 22-year-old Eric Tovar, now a junior at FGCU, the last 9 months have been intensified with uncertainty.
Definitely a lot of things have changed as far as the government, as far as the politics, as far as the general hope that we have. As of right now, my current hope is that the people of Venezuela that are still there get to experience freedom.
In November, the Supreme Court allowed the federal government to move forward with immediately ending TPS for Venezuela. However, Venezuelans who already have employment authorization can legally stay through October of 2026.
As far as the current TPS status, what we're hoping is the TPS gets to be, fully acknowledged and respected by authorities, and that those protections can be guaranteed for the people that have been here on a complete legal basis. People that are students, professionals, that are seeking higher education, people that are here to make a living and had no choice but to come to the States because they were being persecuted. People are hoping that what will come to be will be perhaps a new law.
Tovar's family founded Casa Venezuela in Southwest Florida, an organization that supports Venezuelans living throughout the region. So when Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro was captured, the Tovars were among those who met at Centennial Park to celebrate.
My family, my mom, my parents, they were running around the house, rejoicing, jumping around, dancing. There was music playing, all to finally celebrate the capture of the dictator. What this means for the Venezuelan people, it means a huge step forward for the liberation of my people, of my nation.
It's a delicate balance, celebrating potential freedom for Venezuela while facing the loss of protection here. But Tovar says he won't stop speaking out.
The one thing I would like Americans to understand fully about us is that the Venezuelan people and us, we have a heart that longs for freedom. We have a fire that burns in us to see families come together once again, for captives to be released, for justice to finally take place. And we are willing to go as any means as necessary to see that reality be made, not just for ourselves, but for the generation that comes after me. I'm only 22 years old, but I love Venezuela and I love America. And I love seeing people come together from different cultures to ensure that there will be liberty and freedom for those that need it the most.
For WGCU News, I'm Elizabeth Andarge.
For more on the continuing situation in Venezuela, we are joined by Mayela Rojas, a businesswoman and former owner of Univision in Southwest Florida, who immigrated from Venezuela to Naples in 1996. Ms. Rojas, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
When you first heard this news that Maduro was captured, what was your immediate reaction?
Well, it was definitely a sense of joy and happiness, especially because of the Venezuelans have suffered with this regime dictatorial regime for many, many years. I could say since 1999, when Chavez came into power, everything started to fall down in my country, Venezuela.
Now, almost half of Venezuelans in the United States live in South Florida. You were in Doral recently.
Yes.
What is the pulse of the community of Venezuelans in South Florida right now?
You know, I would like to say that that was a day of celebration. I was in Doral. I went with my friends and my family just to celebrate the starting of a real change finally in our country. As you know, more than 486,000 immigrants came in 2016 when the crisis was terrible in Venezuela. And it was because of the hunger and the out of power that they had, no electricity in the country, no way to find a decent job. As you know, the salary in Venezuela can be $3 a month. So it was a terrible situation. So almost 500,000 Venezuelans came in that year to not only to the United States, but also to other countries in Latin America. So I will say that this is one of the worst emigrating situations in the world as of today. So that's why it was a very historic that day, January 3rd, what happened. And as I said, is the beginning of a new era for Venezuela and South America.
Can you describe conditions, even, I know you mentioned 2016, but if you carry forward till now, what are the conditions like? I know you said you were afraid to go back after 2009.
Yes. I came in 1996 straight to Naples. And my last time that I went to my country was in 2009. It was very unsafe, especially because kidnappings started and also the political instability. It was just super bad. Everything started to just, the situation came worse because of all these narco-terrorists and all the insecurity. And also they created like a parallel police called the colectivos, which they were trying on the streets to dominate the normal population in our country. So that situation started to become super dangerous. People started to be afraid to go out and do any normal activity that you do in a free country. So the situation, I will say, became very, very bad year to year.
You are looking forward to the future. What is your hope for your home country?
I am looking forward for the future. As you know, my country was one of the richest countries in the world because of the oil in the 1950s. So I think the future is bright. I think we are always going to have different opinions. This is a free country, but I believe we were all dreaming to see what happened on January 3rd in our hearts, in our minds, and just to see that becoming a reality. It was like we were all in shock, but very happy.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for joining us. You are so accomplished and well-spoken, and we appreciate your time.
Thank you
today,
so much.
Maisha. Thank you so much. Coming up, is this the beginning of the end for books? As the joy for reading declines, illiteracy rates are on the rise for Floridians. The age of the bookworm could be coming to an end as fewer Americans are picking up a book. During a 2022 survey, the National Endowment of the Arts found that less than half of American adults personally read a book for enjoyment each year. Reduced reading for pleasure, combined with limited access to books, have led to a decline in literacy. The World Population Review says Florida has the third highest percentage of adults lacking basic prose literacy skills at nearly 20%. As WGCU's Samuel Brucker reports, one Southwest Florida library is looking to rekindle the joy of reading by bringing in visitors following a lengthy renovation.
As the mother of two children who visits public libraries nearly twice a week, Dominique Snyder stresses how important acquiring the skill of reading at a young age is, and how it's integral to growth and development. Her library is the South County Regional Library on Three Oaks Parkway, which was closed for 14 months while being renovated. But now, after reopening last month, she says she and her children could not be happier with the outcome.
They just opened the doors to this place, and it's like I said, welcoming, homey. What about peanut butter and cupcakes?
Yes.
The World Population Review says Florida has the third highest percentage of adults in the United States who lack basic literacy skills. To put that into perspective, it's almost 1 out of every 5 adults. On top of that number, Florida has the lowest number of public libraries at 2.6 per 100,000 residents. After learning this, Snyder says the renovations for her library come at the perfect time.
It's very important to be able to read. I think that there are so many avenues, like I said, just the escape, having the ability to escape stress. I mean, work, people need to know how to read to work.
Lee County Library System Director Mindy Simon says these renovations reflect the growing need for public libraries and the services provided.
We know from the calls that we received over the last 14 months about when the library is going to open that there is an active and engaged community here who uses and supports library services. So we are here, we are doing outreach, and we continue to meet the needs of those that we serve, including folks that need support with literacy.
Community members like Snyder say they are grateful to those who pushed for this project and hopes others who may be struggling with literacy take advantage of this community asset.
People can come here, they can learn to read, they can read to get away from reality, escape anything.
Better check out their books up here.
For more information, visit WGCU.org. For WGCU News, I'm Samuel Brucker.
Struggles with reading are also being felt in Florida's schools. The most recent report card from the National Assessment of Educational Progress found that students in the Sunshine State have fallen below national averages on reading scores. To combat this decline in literacy rates, areas like Lee and Collier County are implementing artificial intelligence to help get reading scores in Florida back on track. To learn more about the decline in literacy rates, we are joined by Dr. Erin Hamilton, the Impact Director for Amira Learning, a business that uses AI to increase reading skills. Dr. Hamilton, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Now, a recent report from the Harvard Gazette says the average reading scores for high school seniors fell to its lowest level since 1992. Why do you think we are seeing such a decline in reading proficiency?
Yes, this is a statistic that we're talking about across the nation, but maybe not enough. The decline in literacy has unfortunately been stagnant. The literacy rates have been stagnant for the last decade or more. And our teachers are working very, very hard. Our leaders are working very, very hard in our schools. And what we're finding is what we're doing isn't moving the needle fast enough for what we need our students to have. So we're really seeing trends across the country going in this direction. And unfortunately, it's not the direction that we're wanting across the country for our students to have increased proficiency. We believe that the reason for that is really many factors. And one is really getting our teachers to understand the needs of our students. Prior to the pandemic, our students showed similar needs to after the pandemic. So, many people predict that the pandemic is to blame. However, we feel that that's not necessarily the case. Our students were really struggling with reading prior to the pandemic, and there's a lot of research to show that as well. So getting our teachers to build their knowledge of how we teach struggling readers has been a big challenge over the last decade. I think our nation is doing a really great job in improving that category, but that is an area that we're continually improving, as well as the tools. One thing that the pandemic did do is give our districts dollars to spend on tools. And so there were many, many tools that we were grabbing at and trying to use to solve this concern or this problem. And now we're finding so many districts evaluating those tools to see which ones are effective, which ones are having that great reason for our students to continue using it, and what are our families also continuing to use that's showing the trend line to go increase versus flatline.
Florida is reportedly one of the leaders in declining literacy rates with children. What are some of the issues children are facing causing this decline?
Well, I believe that having ability to get their hands on these tools in all across the state of Florida has been a huge challenge. Making sure that we have students in all of our counties getting similar tools at their disposal is going to be one way to help us make sure that everyone's getting the same chances and helping their literacy. I believe, again, Florida's doing a really great job of working hard in their schools. Our teachers work hard, our leaders work hard, but I just think that we're finding declines going on across the state. Having said that, we do have some unique challenges with the state of Florida, and knowing those challenges, we've tried to make changes. Recently, Florida changed their standards, their literacy standards, and over the last few years, they've been doing checks with their proficiency rates 3 times a year, a beginning of the year, a middle of the year, and an end of the year. And I think making that change recently is going to really help the students in Florida the teachers in Florida find a way to specifically target what students need throughout the school year versus waiting till the very end of the year and relying just on one measure.
And you mentioned your organization, Amira Learning, uses AI to assist, and they help tutor people to help their reading proficiency. What role can AI play in helping literacy rates improve?
Well, I believe AI could be the change that we need to see across the country to change those student outcomes from the flat line to increasing reading proficiency. And the reason I believe that is there are many studies that Amira has done specifically to show that, again, the teacher is the center and they are the leader of the classroom. But using an AI tool like Amira for that assistant in the classroom. So I'll give you an example. The teacher is running a small group instruction. She has or he has a group of students in front of them while the other students in the classroom are busy doing their own independent time. And while they're on that independent time, they're using the AI platform, Amira, to be instructed on similar things that the teacher is doing with the students right in front of them. So instead of, being left to do something that doesn't have a program that doesn't have the same effect size while they're independently working, the teachers that are using something like Amira with a great effect size, using that while they're not with the teacher is showing great gains across the country.
Well, thank you so much for sharing this information, Dr. Hamilton. Thanks again for joining us, and have a great week.
Thank you. You as well.
What was once a unique sporting event during the 1950s is in the midst of a resurgence. Roller derby brings bruising excitement, including right here in Southwest Florida. And that rise in popularity provided an idea to 2 members of the Fort Myers roller derby team. WGCU's Kate Cronin introduces us to a new store, providing locals with everything they need to take on the skating rink.
I told Jess, hey, I had a dream that we owned this cool skate shop and it was super cool, and I was like, we should do it.
Jessica Blair and Cami Laboa met while playing in the Fort Myers Roller Derby League. It's a bond built on a shared love of horror movies and punk music that turned into a new business in Fort Myers. Rotten Hearts is Southwest Florida's first skate shop. Founded by Jess Blair and Cami Laboa, the store is open to all skaters of all ages. If you're looking for some knee pads, some roller skates, or trying to join roller derby, Rotten Hearts is the place to be.
It was an idea that we were throwing around in the back of the truck on the way to a 3-hour game.
And we were talking about man, it would be great to have a skate shop around here. The closest one's in Tampa. And I don't know, we were just throwing ideas around, and then we really started digging into it, and it kind of just happened. But it all started with a joke, and hey, that would be cool to have.
Here's their goal: building up the skating community through education and events that involve local artists and vendors. Rotten Hearts has all kinds of skates for children, beginning skaters, professionals, and everything in between. Blair wants to create a safe space for all kinds of skaters and people to come together.
There are a lot of skaters out here, but there's no like hub for them. So we plan on making this like a place you want to go, get merch, skates, but also like hang out. We plan on hosting our own clinics, like taking care of your skates, watch parties, whether that be for roller derby or maybe some like cool movie nights. We just really want to make this a place that everybody can feel like accepted and like at home.
Rotten Hearts' grand opening is coming up on January 31st. It features local artists, vendors, and a raffle for pairs of skates. In Fort Myers, I'm Kate Cronin with WGCU News.
After the break, celebrating 90 years of a Bonita Springs attraction, how the Wonder Gardens use decades of experience to keep visitors enthralled. In 1936, a small reptile-themed roadside attraction arrived on Tamiami Trail in Bonita Springs. Over the years, it would evolve into the Wonder Gardens, providing a refuge to rescued animals and non-releasable birds. As WGCU's Mike Walcher shares, after decades endearing itself to the local community, the tourist attraction shows no signs of slowing down.
You see these gardens, and you have to wonder, how is this place still open after 90 years?
It's amazing. You can tell the staff really keeps up with the animals and keeps it very family friendly.
The Wonder Gardens in Bonita Springs is the ultimate roadside attraction.
You know, these are legacy experiences, legacy places, you know, where we can celebrate like really an oasis of old Florida.
Look at that guy.
In 1936, brothers Bill and Lester Piper started showing Everglades animals on the banks of the Imperial River along Old Tamiami Trail. To this day, part of the allure of the place centers on children who may be fascinated by birds and playful otters.
It's just really nice and peaceful and calm. Like it just, you know, like you said, like Disney World, just be super crazy and hectic, and we can come here and have a relaxing morning.
The gardens almost became condos 13 years ago when the Piper family was about to sell to developers. A citizens group raised nearly $600,000 to save the place.
So I just started calling people, hey, can you come on the board for the Wonder Gardens? We need to save it. We've got to save it. And that's really how it kind of triggered a lot of emotion. And then, of course, having the media come out and see it.
The city of Bonita Springs bought the property, and a nonprofit foundation now operates the gardens. It celebrates the 90th with a big fundraiser on Saturday, January 31st.
So we can raise money for all of our wonderful new habitats and our animal care center and wonderful things that we need desperately here at the Wonder Gardens.
A family fun day follows on Sunday, February 1st.
We're going to have wonderful community partners here. They'll each have an activity where it'll have a theme oriented to nature, wildlife, and conservation, and that'll be geared towards the kids.
This place has a new theme, Renew the Wonder. Workers are putting in a large tiki hut event center. More pink flamingos are expected after construction of a hurricane-resistant night house. And the gardens plans a canopy walk to allow high views of the grounds. The bigger gift shop makes you believe everyone just has to have a huge stuffed alligator.
So it's kind of like we're towing the line on both the old oasis of Florida, but still having that modern twist to it. And I think that's what really draws people in, is we're able to offer both.
In a society that worships new and shiny, this place recently set a record. Just under 1,000 visitors in one day.
You don't have to be old and run down, you know, to represent old Florida. So you've got to reinvest, because we knew one thing: nobody has the Wonder Gardens, nobody has this piece of property, and we want to keep true to that.
With photographer Kevin Smith for WGCU News, I'm Mike Walcher.
Coming up next week, cannabis is expected to return to Florida ballots, but medical professionals issue a warning before a vote to legalize marijuana. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you download the WGCU app where you'll find all of our stories plus those extended interviews. Have a great weekend, and we look forward to seeing you again next week right here on Southwest Florida in Focus.
Thanks for watching. We've got more great content for you, from news to the arts to the environment. So be sure to like and subscribe to WGCU's YouTube channel and follow us on our social media platforms for the stories that matter to you.